Filtran audio de CNN de cómo tratan de sabotear a Trump. En realidad no es de extrañar que esto suceda, pero con audios revelados ya hay base de lo que se dice. El periodista James O'Keefe revela unos audios de una conferencia de CNN. Aquellos audios revelados demuestran que el Partido Demócrata controla este medio de comunicación, además de que tratan de hacer hundir al presidente Donald Trump con respecto a las elecciones.
Hey, Jeff Zucker, you there? Hey, this is James O'Keefe. We've been listening to your CNN calls for basically 2 months, recording everything. Just wanted to ask you some questions if you have a minute. Do you still feel you're the most trusted name in news? Because I have to say, from what I've been hearing on these phone calls, I don't know about that. And we got a lot of recordings that indicate you're not really that independent of a journalist.
Thank you for your comments. So everybody, in light of that, I think what we'll do is we'll set up a new system and we'll get back to you. We'll do the rest of the call over later.
We're going to release those recordings today at 7 o'clock, so stay tuned. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. So you just heard me talk to President of CNN, Jeff Zucker, and inform him that we are going to release a number of recordings today. I unmuted myself into the conference, and they're still on there. They're listening. This is being live streamed for those of you still on the call. And we've recorded for a while, and we have clips of various producers talking, the president talking, describing their motives, describing their political philosophy, describing how they don't cover certain things and certain political parties tell them to cover them a certain way. Lots of little clips that takes us into the minds and hearts of our people, powers that be, that inform us, because government is downstream of the media.
Imagínate, el periodista grabó por 2 meses. Aún no se sabe cómo logró ingresar dentro de la conferencia de CNN. Aquí el siguiente audio se muestra que el Partido Demócrata da órdenes a CNN. Presta atención.
CNN says on Jeff Zucker's 9 a.m. editorial conference call how they, the Democratic Party, powerful interest groups, may determine how CNN will cover Trump not conceding the presidential election.
I just want to underscore something that Michael said earlier about the transition and Trump, because I've been talking to a lot of people this morning on both sides, and I just keep hearing the same thing, both from Republicans who have not come out to congratulate Biden, but also to those who have in the Democrats, and that is that we have to be, news organizations have to be very careful and very responsible about not giving Trump too much of a platform on his not conceding, because they feel the transition can go forward, and other than the national security briefings, which are critical to start now, they just don't want us to exaggerate that Trump isn't leaving office. And I'm going to have a lot of specific reporting on that later today, but just big picture wanted to underscore what Michael has said.
Yep, agreed.
On the issue of why it's important to get the transition going right, the 9/11 report talks about one of the problems was that the trouble that was brewing got lost during the transition. So if you want a good concrete example of what happens when you don't have a good transition, go look at the Twin Towers.
Yeah, so I think that's an important point. I think it was just a little bit yesterday in terms of national security. I think it's really important to raise again. I would encourage folks to think about, that 9/11 Commission report and the lack of transition.
Dicen que cuidado con la transición, que si Donald Trump no acepta, podría pasar como en las Torres Gemelas. Y muchos saben qué pasó en las Torres Gemelas. Imagínate tal comparación con respecto a estas elecciones 2020. El periodista James O'Keefe dijo que publicará más audios en días próximos. Pero ante todo esto, ¿qué respondió CNN? Los expertos legales dicen que esto puede ser un delito grave. Lo hemos remitido a las fuerzas del orden. Al parecer, hoy muchos ya sabemos qué está pasando en Estados Unidos con respecto al fraude electoral. Bueno, aquí lo dejamos todo. Nos vemos en un próximo video.
Tiempo final.